Bright suns and rising moons, fellow droids. Welcome to another episode of Not the Droids podcast. I'm Mayuri,
I'm Danny.
and today I'm laughing because Danny started the recording while I was talking about something else to force me to start paying attention. Today we are continuing our watch of the Clone Wars Season 1, Episodes 5, 6, and 7. So, Episode 5 was a standalone called Rookies. And then episodes 6 and 7 were kind of like a duology, where the first one was Downfall of a Droid, and the second one was Duel of the Droids. When did these come out?
So these came out a week apart from each other. So October 24th, November 7th, and November 14th of 2008. So I'm
Which
glad.
is literally the same week that we're recording
Yes.
this.
Only many years ago.
Yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I am enjoying that we are on like a regular
Oh my God.
chronological schedule right now.
So like we don't have to like hop seasons and hop. It
Yes.
was a lot before. So I'm not looking forward to having to do that in the future, but it's not too bad for the near future,
No.
I don't think. So, but it is kind of nice to just let the autoplay
Yes.
go.
Yes.
So we'll start with rookies since this is a standalone. Um, I will say I have finally gotten used to the voiceovers. They actually provide amazing context for the episode, and I know that the lessons are being flashed at the beginning of the episode, but I am never catching any of them.
I caught one of the three, and it happens to be Rookie's episode, which was the best confidence builder is experience. Don't ask for the other two.
I think of the other two about like friends and something like that. I don't know. It took me too long to realize that the floor clones that escaped the takeover of the moon base or whatever were our Bad Batch
Mhm.
clones from before.
There are Bad Batch kids, and they have joined and have met Rex officially.
Well, they eventually meet up with Rex.
Yeah.
One of them dies first on the way. Can I say that? One of
Yeah.
them gets eaten by a space eel. And now we have space worms and space eels. Because, like, they were just like running around the moon. And I was like, guys, we have learned one thing when there are a lot of craters on a big floating rock in Star Wars is
Midgard worm.
the Midden Guard. But this time it was an eel with like a weird mouth situation. My favorite though is like the eel pops out, eats one of them, and then just goes, "Ah, poor cut up." And you're
Yeah.
like, "Dang, that's my guy. That's the
Yeah.
dude."
Well, he definitely got cut up.
I know. I was just like, they had like no reaction. They're like, "Ah, poor dude got eaten by an eel."
So we do see Anakin for like a moment, who's pretty much staying awake because he is on this path to catch General Grievous. But then it just switches over, and this is a clones-based episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say that any mention, any like flash to the Jedi was just to be like they're still doing this, but that this was very much a
Yes.
clones episode. Um, Again, the battle droids really hammered it home today.
Their comedic timing's just,
Everywhere.
it's just there.
It's like everything is totally fine. Um, I have the most random notes from this episode because like I had a Sam Jackson moment. Okay, so like they meet up with Rex, which that's when I realized who they were. When they were like, I'm Rex and I'm this, and they're like, they called one of they were like fives, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, fives.
Heavy and
And
Echo.
Echo. Um, that's when I realized, like, oh, it's Rex. Oh, it's Bad Batch. Like, that took me too long.
So we're
But
now
when they
noted we now are kind of like, okay, we're sticking with our clones team. There's other
yeah.
ones, but for the most
Well,
part,
so
this is the team that now like travels with Anakin.
I don't think they're on the team yet. even through the episode. So
Yeah.
like I think okay, so throughout the episode, my favorite part is when they're pretending to be the drones, pretending to be a clone.
Roger,
Because like
Roger.
earlier in the episode, the drones were pretending to be clones and being like, "Yes, everything is totally fine at this base. Goodbye." Um,
You can
so then
leave.
you can leave. And now we have the reverse, and the Roger Roger would be like, "You don't
Roger, Roger.
sound right."
Roger, Roger with an Australian accent.
Yeah. And that's where I had like the Sam Jackson moment, and I was like, Roger, Roger, MFers.
Roger,
um,
Roger.
that's why I honestly, Cena has a pin that says Roger, Roger with a battle clone, and I might buy it just for funsies because
Yeah.
they're so funny to me. But by the end of the episode, we lose Heavy. He sacrifices himself
Yeah.
to save
Um,
everyone else.
Before we add that, for those of the people that may be interested in said pin, Laser Brain Patch Co. on
Right.
Instagram.
Laser Brain Patch Co. on Instagram, Roger Roger. I might just get it just so I could
Yeah.
like. Do I enjoy when they say Roger Roger? No, but everything else about them I think is hilarious. Even when they're talking to each other, they're like, let's not sell anybody. Like, it's funny. So by the end of the episode, there was a lot of dramatics. They retook the moon base. They couldn't do the thing, and I was just like, "This is so annoying to me." The in between,
Yeah.
because I'm just like, I understand that the left now they have to blow up the moon base to prove a point. I'm like, you can't just like blow up the communications array. You have to blow up the entire base,
Yeah.
and so we lose one more of the Bad Bashers. The in a heart it wasn't even a heartfelt goodbye, it was just like boom, peace out. And that's where we only have Echo and Fives left, and
Yeah.
that's where I think that they're not on the team yet because Rex
No,
says
but I think we're at the point where like, okay, we're gonna start seeing them being assigned to like Rex's squadron a little more.
eventually, well, because Anakin's like, I would serve with you, like I would love to have you on my thing.
Yeah.
Rex was like, I would serve with you guys any day.
Yeah. It's the
So I think
foreshadowing of it.
it's foreshadowing that like they're going to join Rex's team, the
Yeah.
501.
Yes.
501. Um, yeah. So the only did you catch the little banter between Anakin and Obi-Wan about their clone commanders? So that what's the name of the commander something? I forget his name. And Captain Rex were the ones that were like missing. And they kind of had a little bit of banter about how one of them is boring and the other one's a loose cannon. And I think it's because they're the clones, the lead clones assigned to Anakin and Obi-Wan. And so it kind of mimics their personalities. So
Hmm.
like Obi-Wan's head clone is more reserved and like methodical, whereas Anakin's head clone is like
Very much like
a loose
them.
cannon. Yeah.
So I was just looking at where Bad Batch falls in our timeline. So Clone Wars is 2008. Bad Batch came out in 2021.
Yeah.
So on May 4th.
Of course. May 4th.
May the
Is it
4th be
for my
with you.
fate? But yeah, so I don't know. I like this episode because like this is where I'm having a hard time because again, like yes, general spoilers for the main movies in the universe. That's where we operate, right? Because we everyone they're pop culture at this point. So culturally, we know what happens with all the clones. And so every episode that gets us to like the clones more and more and more make me more upset. Literally, because I'm watching this and I'm just like,
I don't know that I get upset. I sit there and I go, how did this get to that? Because in my head, I'm like, these clones aren't those clones.
but
So
they
how did we
are.
get? I know they are, but they're, let me live in my, but I'm like, how did these, like the ones that we know,
Turn around and do what they did.
Like, what happens here?
Right? So it's just like that's where like every time I get more invested in the clones and I like them
Hmm.
more and more, it's like my brain stops me from like being more engaged with them because I'm just like, don't forget, in whenever the hell you finish watching all of these Clone Wars episodes, they're gonna break your heart.
I think you need to get through Bad Batch first before they break your heart, because I have seen the Bad Batch.
Which will make it even worse. Because
It
I
will.
like them even more at that point.
Yeah.
I like Rex a lot.
Let's see. So Bad Batch actually happens right after the Clone Wars timeline.
Yeah,
It goes Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, random Clone Wars episodes, and then we start Bad Batch. So
yeah.
the Clone Wars is going to end, and from what it, without prior knowledge, my assumption would be that Clone Wars ends, and then we follow these clones who have become the
After.
Bad Batch. And Bad Batch might hint to why they are not those clones.
Oh, okay.
They're a Bad Batch.
Yeah. So yeah, so I mean, it's fine. Um, I'm excited to see the squadron like evolve and stuff.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is nice to see clone specific episodes every now and then.
But you know it's even nicer for me?
An episode with Ahsoka in it.
I mean that too, but droid specific episodes.
Yes. I feel like we're getting a bunch of droids, but like it's droids that we know.
It's droids that we know are types of droids, so it's not like, oh, it's not like necessarily. R2 is obviously a big part of this next episode, but it's like, oh, it's the battle droids. Oh, it's, you know,
Assassin droids. It's this we've met these droids before, but obviously each droid has
we
their
don't
own
have like a
personality.
connection to
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Speaking of droids, the next set of episodes, I really liked them, and I like it because they're like R2 and Anakin focused.
Yes.
Um, which I think is a really smart way of like telling the story that they did. I still don't understand the main plot point, but what about the droid R3? I don't understand how that happens. But we start the episode where they're talking about the war and how they're like meeting up with Grievous every time. And my favorite line is like, they always know when and where to attack us. And I was like, isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious?
There's a
Someone is a
spy.
spy. There's a spy. And I was just like, guys, why? What? Though I will say the spy ended up being someone I didn't think of. But then I was just like, I literally wrote, Anakin is such a little shit. Every time. Everybody hates him. It's just like, he's like, yes, that's our mission, but like, I will do whatever I want,
Anakin leads with his emotions, and
which is
his
not the way of the Jedi.
it is not the way of the Jedi, but his emotions are also not the. His emotions need some counseling, maybe a little bit of therapy for direction.
Some counseling. Um, I have a question though. Why does Anakin have a different ship than everybody? He's got the yellow ship, the gold ship,
Because he's Gold
gold
Squadron.
leader. But none of the other gold squadron ships are gold.
I don't know.
They're that,
Maybe it signifies so that you can find like the leader.
yeah, maybe, I guess. But I don't know. Every time General Grievous gets into a ship, I just think about how dexterous his mechanical joints are.
I need to know his history.
He like flips into the ships like crazy.
Hmm. But
Well, isn't
how?
he like a person that died and they fused his body with the droid?
It just still confuses me.
I don't understand it, but that's what I assume because like his eye sockets are weird. Those are like
I
his
mean, he's
real
just
like
like
eye bags. But every time he gets into the ship, he's like
he's like a
contorts.
spider. He's like a spider. It's
Yes.
like
It's
Cool.
really, but like a spider that could go upside down. It's really weird. He's
Yeah.
super dexterous. Um, this is also this kind of episode is where like the knowledge that R2 is definitely not destroyed really makes the episode less
There's
terrifying.
yeah, there's no concern for R2's well-being
Yes.
for us.
Like obviously Anakin is concerned, but you're just here being like, it's okay, Anakin. I'm sure you will find him.
Yes. And R2 knows his way around. I've never, R2 makes better decisions than Anakin on a daily basis.
Can we talk about how Obi-Wan said that R2 units are a dime a dozen?
I was really struggling with our friend Obi-Wan and his
Casual
disregard for
disregard.
R2. But also, at this point,
He's
R2
not
has
like,
not proven himself to Obi-Wan.
that's true. He's like proven himself to Anakin, and I do like how
And Padme. We know Padme loves an
and
R2.
Padme. We know that not we know, but Obi-Wan at this point makes a comment, and this is where I feel like this is the starts of the cracks in Anakin, where he's just like, attachment is not the way of the Jedi.
Hmm.
What do you mean you would rather risk the lives of many to save a droid? And
Yeah.
then he finds out that Anakin doesn't wipe the droid's memory every time they go out
And has
of the
literally like risked the entire.
every time they take that droid out. So that's like a good thing to know that they're wiping droids before. But I can also understand why Anakin doesn't wipe R2, right? And that's where R2's personality develops, where R2 just like is sassy like Anakin and
Yes.
does what R2 wants to do, not what R2 is told to do.
Yes.
But yeah.
So in a way, R2 is like the Anakin and 3PO is like the Obi-Wan.
Yes. Yes. I did enjoy the moment where they go onto the Ravager, whatever, their ship, and they like pretend to be a couple by throwing ponchos on to cover their Jedi clothes. And then he just like he hugs Ahsoka and goes, "Who comes? What kind of droid do you?" It's like you're convincing nobody. You're convincing nobody.
No. I thought they were pretending to be father-daughter.
I did not think that.
Oh, see, I went father-daughter.
I don't think of Pookums as a father-daughter endearment.
I don't think I wanted to think about no.
um, the droid graveguard was creepy. So this is where R3, I was calling dummy the entire show. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh my God, dummy did this. Dummy doesn't understand what they're doing. Dummy did this.
I started questioning our friend Goldie and being like, Goldie, you can't.
I did
You
not start questioning that droid ever.
Oh, I started questioning Goldie because Goldie's supposed to be the next model of R2 units, and R2 is very smart and learns on the job, and Goldie's just like out here activating assassin droids,
Not only
closing
that,
doors,
honestly,
locking doors.
we should have clocked it when Goldie set off the beacon to
Yes.
lure General Grievous to Anakin,
Yeah.
and I didn't. So that's where I was like, "No, you're gonna accidentally power up the assassin droid, you stupid droid." And then
Mhm.
I was like, "Why is Anakin so mean to you?" And then I was just like, "Is R2 just smarter than other droids?" Like I had a
I
whole
think so.
moment.
Because here's my theory, because now we know that they wipe their brains every time they go out. R2 is smarter because R2 is gaining information as he goes.
It's that machine learning.
Yeah, like he's learning as he goes, and he's been in different circumstances. And what happened to erasing Goldie's brain every time he goes somewhere?
Exactly. So like this is where like we find out We go to the other thing. I literally wrote a note. I was like, okay, I'm finally used to the intros because like now I understand them and I
Hmm.
understand. But it's just like the whole time I'm like, R2 is so funny, R2 is so smart, R2 is the best. And I just like never considered that R3 was the traitor.
I had a moment. I'm like, nope, nope. This this
But it
droid is
doesn't
up
make
to something.
But that's where it's like I didn't clock it the whole time because I was just like, how does that even happen? Like, wouldn't like don't they program like where unless one of the traitor clones reprogrammed R3 after I guess like
No, Grievous says he was planted, so
so that's
he's the
where it's
one.
like
R3, we now know R3 is the one that has been feeding the locations to Grievous. And like how these ended was like Anakin was like kind of back to like he knew all along. We're like, dude, you didn't know, you were just very in your emotions about it not being R2. Like, don't act like you were aware.
yeah, he just has an attachment to R2 and didn't want to
Yeah.
do. But that's where it's just like how does that happen logistically? If they're wiping the memory every before they go out, are they wiping? They're not wiping the full memory, but they're wiping it of plans and stuff. So how is that droid transmitting without anybody?
Maybe R3 wasn't getting wiped because he wasn't going out
Oh,
until.
this was his first thing, right?
So maybe he was just on the station, so he wasn't getting wiped because he wasn't going out on missions.
And they didn't have
And
time to wipe him before this
or
mission.
since our dear friend over here does not wipe R2s, he didn't think to, oh, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was curious is that like I thought it was funny that Grievous was so offended that Ahsoka was a youngling. He's just like, they sent a youngling after me. Like, what the heck? Um, but I didn't realize that as Anakin's Padawan, she still had authority over the clones in his absence.
Yes,
Like,
because she's technically now the one in charge.
which I think is weird, to be honest.
She's not exactly a youngling. She's just young and a Padawan. So she's supposed to be learning, and her job is to be able to do these things and grow. And Anakin is very much like on the job experience type.
That's true.
So I don't
So
necessarily think this is how other Padawans learn, but Anakin's just like, you're in charge, have fun. I'm gonna go do the reckless thing.
yeah, and she held her own for
Yeah.
a good
But
long
that's one thing we
while.
do know about her is that for her age, she really knows how to hold her own. Generally is more logical than Anakin. I think right now at least she's very open-hearted, which is why like Goldie she saw past. Like she didn't see like the signs because she's like, "Oh, this new droid, Gold Squadron. He's gold, he matches us." Like
Yeah.
which leads to our downfall in the future. That
Yes.
we'll come back to at a later day.
Yeah. I literally just have ha 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 for the rest of the notes for this because the R2 versus R3 battle was hilarious from start to finish, every moment of it, especially first of all when R2 sprayed oil
That's one of our
onto
two
R3.
go-to
Yeah,
moves.
that's his go-to, but what is not his go-to is then to light that oil on fire.
Oh, it also gave me like flashbacks to like other scenes that we haven't hit yet, where it's like there's fire involved and two characters. I was just like, this is really funny on this bridge, and like, and the thing is, so in my brain
Art
where it went, I've been watching Survivor lately, and I'm like, oh, they're in the last episode. They're making fire to see who moves.
the
Because that's what
two
he's doing. He's literally
R
making
units fighting were just hilarious. And then Anakin literally risking everything to go back and pick up R2 is also hilarious.
Yeah.
But again, that's where you see like Obi-Wan is thinking more of like a high level general where he's like, "Are you joking?
Yeah.
You risked all of that to save an R unit that would have exploded in fire?" Like,
Yep.
I think about all the resources Anakin wasted, how many clones
I
died.
would not want to be the person that has to like audit Anakin's expenditures.
Seriously. How are they? Also, he was like flashing credits around like crazy. So he has so many. I did clock someone said that the weird scavenger guy was
Mhm.
like, I want my money in cash. And I was like, is that a thing in Star Wars? Don't they call them just credits? Like I've heard cold hard credits,
And
but
maybe it
like
was just a
the
miss.
concept of it in cash.
Yeah, I think he had a miss there. That might have been
Yeah,
a writer's miss.
yeah.
But
But
I don't think credits is our right now in the timeline. Credits are not hard to find. Like
yeah, because like I feel
I
like
think we
older,
come off of Skeleton Crew going like they could credits were so rare, and we're like that's
but I
not the
think we're
time.
still in the golden age of Jedi,
Yes,
right? So like Old Republic
this is
credits
just
are
no. This is he just literally has money. Like
money. But yeah, I liked them. They were good. I'm happy that I'm finally in this place where I like understand what's going on and I like the context to the future.
right. So next up we have season one, episodes 8, 9, and 10, which are Bombad Jedi, Cloak of Darkness, and Lair of Grievous.
Maybe we'll find more
I'm wondering
out.
if that's going to be a backstory on General
I
Grievous.
wonder either that or he's just a hoarder.
Yes. So we'll have three episodes, and then we'll actually go do 4 episodes because then we have another trio coming up.
Yeah, the Ryloth trio. So
Yeah, so they're gonna jump around from 3 episodes to 4 episodes for a little bit here. Just so, and then we drop down to 2 again, we're trying to, this is what we're working on. We want to get to the Mandalore plot because then we can watch The Mandalorian in preparation for the movie drop. So we're gonna do a whole rewatch out of timeline to watch The Mandalorian up leading up to the movie. Until next time, we're not the droids you're looking for.
but we're the droids you're gonna get.